my channel. So today's video is going to be all about eating out. Now, because living well is not a diet and it's a way of life, there are going to be times where you go out for a meal or you want to grab a takeaway. Now, ideally, you would try and make your own takeaway, or when you eat out, you try and make good choices to be able to lose weight. So what we're going to do is discuss some values. Now, because there's so many and there's so many different options, I'm not going to remember it all off the top of my head. So I'm going to be referring to my iPad. So how cute is my iPad? Do you like my cover? So cute. So I'm going to be referring to my iPad for all the different sin values, and hopefully this is going to give you some really good ideas of how to food optimize while you're eating out. Now, if you like my channel and you like the videos that I post, I'd absolutely love to have you as a subscriber. So down below, if you just click subscribe, and you can also follow me over on Instagram. Now we're going to start with Chinese. I love Chinese food. I love all food. But Chinese, I used to eat the chicken chow mein a lot, but because the portions got so big, the sin value went up, so I don't have it anymore. So Chinese, if I was going to go, I'd probably have something like chicken and black bean sauce. Now the average portion is 550 grams, so little tip, if you are getting takeaways, you might just want to weigh it as a one-off and just double check the portion size, because if it's bigger, the sins will be higher. If it's smaller, then they might be lower. So 7.5 sins for the average portion of chicken and black bean, and then boiled rice is free. So that's really easy. You could also go for a hot and sour soup, which is 5 sins. Now spare ribs, I don't actually like spare ribs, but 4 spare ribs would cost you 8.5 sins, so I think that's quite a lot. You could also have beef in mushroom for 8.5 sins, or even better, chicken in oyster sauce is 6.5 sins. But oh, it's so easy to make. I begrudge spending sins on it, to be honest. Or let's have a look. So rice options. So if you were going to go for boiled rice, it's obviously free. Chop suey is 9.5 sins. So chicken chop suey, 9.5 sins. So that's not bad. And if you want the veggie option, there is a vegetable option, which weirdly, stir-fried mixed vegetables is 10.5 sins. So that's weird, isn't it? So top it up with boiled rice, job done. Now, the fortune cookies are 2.5 sins, but I've never had a fortune cookie. So moving on now to Indian. Now, Indian is probably my #1 choice. I absolutely love Indian food. Now, a little tip. Most places will do it without ghee for you, or without oil if you ask. So it's always worth saying, please can I have no oil or no ghee, and then that would obviously reduce the sins. But you wouldn't know 100% if they've done it or not. Occasionally I have asked for no ghee and no oil, and I can tell that there is still oil in it. So just double check, and hopefully they'll be honest with you. But if you're going to go for a marinated meat dish, something like a tandoori chicken is 9.5 sins for a 350 gram serving. And if you had that with boiled rice and then just asked them to do you like a big onion salad with no dressing, that's a really nice meal for 9.5 sins. Starters and sides, so naan breads are horrific. So just for a small naan bread, they're like 20 sins. And poppadoms are 4 sins each, and they're so easy to eat, aren't they? So just be careful of stuff like that. The onion sambal is 1 level tablespoon for half a sin. The raita, like the mint yogurt cucumber thing, is 1 sin for a level tablespoon. The lime pickle is 1.5, and the mango chutney is 2. So chicken dishes, if you wanted to go for a dansak, that is what I always have. It's my absolute favourite. It's got like lentils in it, and it's just beautiful. That is 10.5 sins, which I think is pretty good. Jalfrezi is 13 for a chicken jalfrezi, or a chicken vindaloo is 12, and then the tandoori 9.5. So they're really good options. A vegetable jalfrezi is 10.5, and a vegetable curry normally is around 12.5. A gobi aloo saag is 12, and a vegetable biryani 15. But you've got to remember, these are average portions. Every restaurant, every takeaway might do them slightly different. So let's move on to Italian. So if you're going to go to an Italian restaurant, what you've got to think about is the sauce that they're using. So if it's a tomato based sauce, it's going to be a pretty good option. If it's a creamy sauce, it won't be. So a good starter is an antipasto. So you could have like the selection of the Parma ham, which is half a sin a slice. Olives, so 8 olives are 1.5 sins. Mozzarella, 45 grams is an A choice, so you could use that. And then normally it comes with like artichokes and things like that. Dried tomatoes, sun-dried tomatoes are 100 grams for 6.5 cents. And then just ask for loads of salad leaves, but make sure they don't just soak it in olive oil. What I tend to have when I go to an Italian, and I went to one recently, was minestrone soup. So minestrone soup's lovely, and it's about 6.5 cents. So pasta dishes are going to be brilliant when you go for an Italian. The al pomodoro, or pomorado, I don't know how you say it, pomodoro. That one is like a chicken sort of basil-y sauce option. So that would be roughly about 10 cents, 11 cents. A tagliatelle carbonara, you're looking at about 17 to 20. And then an average portion of vegetable lasagna is around 11, so that's not bad. What I tend to have for my main, I'll go for 3 different options. I'll either have spaghetti bolognese, which the average is 11 cents, or I'll just ask for pasta, a tomato-based sauce with no oil, and then I either ask for cooked chicken breast, like grilled chicken breast, or tuna, and then that's going to be a really, really low sin option. And then I always have it with a plain side salad. So there's normally like chicken or veal or fish on the menu as well, so you could always see if they do some like new potatoes and salad. So not too bad at Italian. Fish and chip shop. So I used to love chippy chips. Oh my god, I used to have them for my lunch. I just think they're the best things ever. I actually don't think I'd enjoy them now. I think the smell is good, but the actual taste now I think I'd find really, really greasy. But if you're going to go for fish and chips, if you take the batter off the fish, it's free, and mushy peas is free. So then all you've got to do is sin your chips. So they're 14 cents for a 220 gram serving. Now that is not a lot of chips, guys. Most chippies will probably do you double the amount, so you're looking more at like 28 cents. So maybe just ask them for a small portion, and then when you get home weigh them. So that's really the only option at a chippy. If you're going to go to a carvery, carveries are pretty easy, so roast dinners, carveries. If you fill up on the meat and the veg, then it's not going to be too bad. Just be careful, because some carveries do use butter like on their vegetables, so just make sure that yours have them. If you go for steamed or like new potatoes, then obviously that's a really, really good option. With carveries, you can check the average sin value online, so you can actually look at like Toby Carvery and places like that. In the back of your book, you can also look how many sins are in things like roast potatoes. So if you did want a couple, it wouldn't be the end of the world, but I tend to just fill up on the veg, the meat, and then I always ask them for new potatoes, and it's normally fine. So Mexican, really, really like Mexican food as well. Mexican, your best option is a vegetable chili. So vegetable chili, you're going to be looking at around 5 cents, and if you have that with plain boiled rice, that's a really, really good choice. Normally they'll do something like corn on the cob as well, so that's obviously free if it's got no butter. A lot of places, they do things like grilled beef steak or like chicken sizzler and things like that. Or they tend to do like fajitas, which I absolutely love. So they come out like all sizzling, don't they, on like a grill. If you're going to have that, they're normally wrapped in a tortilla wrap, which would be about 6 cents. So if you're being careful with your sins, and you're having the salsa and stuff, you're going to be looking at around sort of 3 cents for that as well. So it's not a bad option, but they probably will use oil. Vegetable enchiladas, so that's going to be about 14 cents, and if you have that with salad. But the chicken version is 22, so that will take you over your sins. If you go for just a normal chili con carne, then that's going to be about 11.5. So not too bad, and as long as you fill up on the boiled rice, it's all right. Another place I tend to go quite a lot if I'm going to eat out is just the Harvester. Now, a little tip, a lot of harvesters baste their jacket potatoes in oil. So ring up about an hour before you're going to go and ask them to do you a oven baked potato with no oil and no butter, and they should do it. Mine do it for me, and quite a few places where I've gone to now have confirmed if they do use oil, and they all say yes. So I have Simply Chicken when I go. So Simply Chicken, the plain jacket potato, and then on the salad bar you just got to be careful because some of the stuff's got quite a lot of sins in, and you can tell because it's in a sauce. So just go for like the plain speedy salads. In terms of starters, prawns without the batter or crab and smoked salmon are obviously going to be a good choice. What else? Gammon you could have, so you could have gammon or you could have steak, and then they do a chicken and skewer one, which isn't too bad. You just got to count a few sins for the oil. Vegetable dishes, roasted vegetable pasta or the roasted vegetable chili is not a bad option, but yeah, I just always go for simply chicken. So another famous one that people tend to love, Nando's. I love Nando's. Now, if you have a flame grilled chicken breast, it's normally 3 sins. But if you ask them to do it without the skin, all it's going to have on it is a little bit of the marinade. So just maybe count like half a sin. And then the regular spicy rice, the small spicy rice, is only 2 sins. And then if you just have that with the plain salad or the corn on the cob, that's a really, really low sin meal, and it's so, so tasty. If you choose to have the sauces and stuff, then obviously that's going to cost you more sins. But at Nando's, they do balsamic vinegar, so I just put balsamic vinegar over it. Pizza Express, so 10.5 sins for the Lagira Superfood Salad with chicken is the best option on the menu. Now that comes with like rocket, cucumber, peppers, chickpeas, edamame beans, pine nuts. So it sounds like a lot of sins for a salad, but it is quite a special salad. You can also ask for less creamy dressings and stuff like that, and that's going to reduce the sins. And then the Lagira Pollo Arrabbiata is only 6.5 sins, so that's pretty good as well. Wetherspoons, so a bit of Wetherspoons. Now the lowest sin thing at Wetherspoons will be the Shangira noodles for 3 sins, or the 5-bean chili for 6. Now if you just have like a jacket potato and ask them for just beans and then like a plain salad, then that would be free. So that's another good option. I used to have the chicken skewers from there, but I'm pretty sure they are done in oil, so I think they're about 6 sins. So yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Bella Italia, so Bella Italia, they do a pomodoro with like a tomato and basil sauce for 2.5 sins. They do a lamb ragu for 4, and then they do prawns in spicy sauce for 6, and a bolognese for 6. So Bella Italia is pretty good. Pretty good there. Pret a manger, so while you're out and about, just like shopping, not necessarily going for like a meal, Pret a manger do a tuna niçoise salad without any dressing at all, so that would be free. They do a teriyaki salmon sushi salad without dressing for 5.5, or a crayfish and avocado without dressing for 6.5. But the good one is a miso soup is only 1.5, and then all their fresh fruit is free. So Pret a manger, I think they do the boiled eggs as well with the spinach, so that would be free. Now, if you want to grab something like a jacket potato, you might be able to find like a jacket potato man. So, you know, like a man in a van doing jacket potatoes. Now, they might tell you that the food is Slim and Well friendly, but just to be doubly sure, you might just want to go for beans. Or I tend to ask them if they've got plain tuna. So they normally mix it in mayo, but they might have some plain tuna out the back. So tuna and sweet corn, which I love on a jacket potato. Or places like Marks and Spencer's do jacket potatoes, and also Debenhams, so you could go to like cafes like that and get a really nice jacket potato, beans and a nice plain salad. Marks and Spencer's also do a new potato and spinach salad with like a bit of salmon in, and that's a great option because that's only 2 sins, and I think that's pretty much it. When I go to Marks, I tend just to get like packs of meat and loads of fruit, because then that's sin free. So my favourite grab and go is Subway. So I always have just a plain Subway salad. So I have either the chicken tikka or the turkey, and I don't bother with dressing. I just have salt and pepper on it, so then it's completely free. If you did want a dressing, just to give you a rough idea, the honey and mustard and the sweet onion one is 1.5 sins per serving, and the barbecue one is 2. But per serving, they just whack it on, so you don't always really know how many sins you're using. So I just have it plain, and actually once you start not having it, you don't really miss it. It's fine, it's fine. So one of the last things I'm going to talk about is Wagamama's. Now, some of the sins at Wagamama's are crazy. They're really high. So pizza's one of the worst, but Wagamama's is pretty high as well. So I've managed to find some low sin options if you're going to go to Wagamama's. So the one that I've got first, and I will not be able to pronounce these, is the Donburi Shiitake. Don't even know what that is. It's 12.5 sins. Whatever it is, it's 12.5 sins. Let me know below if you know what it is. I don't really eat in Wagamama's. The salad pad thai is 9.5. I love pad thai. The salad with the sirloin steak and shiitake is only 4 sins. How good is that? And I've been told it's really, really nice. So I'm impressed with that. I'm going to have that. And then you've got Wagamama warm chili chicken salad, which is a whopping 15.5. So I wouldn't want to spend that personally. I'd rather have the steak one for 4. Then you've got the donburi teriyaki chicken, which is 9 sins. So that sounds good. And then teppanyaki yakisoba, which is 13.5, and yaki undun, which is 12.5. The miso soup is 3, and then the teppanyaki teriyaki salmon soba. Jesus, they don't make it easy to say, do they? That's 14.5 cents. So there's some all right options at Wagamama's if you fancy a bit of that. And then just in terms of general advice, when you're out and about, just try and look for the descriptive words that are used on menus. So the healthier options are going to be things like grilled, steamed, boiled, griddled, tomato based or stir fry. So they're normally the better options. The really bad ones are going to be things like deep fried, cheesy, sauteed, gratin, southern fried, battered, buttery, mash, melt. They all normally mean that something's going to be really, really high sim. So yeah, that's kind of like a bit of a guide to eating out. There are other places like McDonald's and places like that. I'm not even going to get into McDonald's. If you want to go and have a chicken salad in McDonald's, then good luck, because I just think that it's the most disgusting things ever. I would never ever eat one. But you could get like a small portion of fries and a few fish fingers or a couple of chicken nuggets if you really want. But I don't want to encourage people to go and eat McDonald's, so I'm not going to go there. I much prefer the options that we've just talked about. I would absolutely love to know if you found any other options. So if there's anywhere that you go which is really low sin, or if you found any like really good finds while out and about in coffee shops or anything like that, then I would love to know. If I go to independent restaurants, I always check the menu before I go, and I have been known to email them first and just say to them, look, I follow Slimming World, I would absolutely love it if you could just make a few tweaks to the menu for me. And they've done it every single time. One place even went out and got jacket potatoes just for me and my friends, which I thought was amazing. Sauces on the side, no dressing, all those sort of things. They're normally really happy to do it. Just check if things are cooking oil, ask for like no butter on stuff, and it's actually not that difficult. Don't ever feel guilty for using your choice power. You are the customer. You don't need to make excuses. You don't need to say, oh, I'm on a diet, because you're not on a diet. You don't want people thinking, oh God, she's the awkward one. All you're doing is choosing to eat healthy, and there's nothing wrong with that. And if they cook from scratch, it's not going to be an issue. It really won't be an issue. So I hope that's helped. If it has, if you could just give this video a quick thumbs up, then I know that you like this sort of thing, and I know that it was worthwhile watching, and that will make me happy. So don't forget to subscribe if you'd like more videos, and happy fopping, guys. Thanks so much for watching.